Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Monday edition of Marked by the Sky. With me, as always, is Mr. Bill Skywatcher.
Good Monday afternoon.
I was going to let you do it.
I know. At least I got to say it. So, how's everything going with you over there in Roswell?
It's almost 100 degrees, so I guess that means spring is here.
Dude, it's winter here still. It's in the 40s.
It was snowing last weekend, and now it's hot and windy, So,
anyway, what's the latest you've been hearing? Because I've been hearing contradicting stories regarding an alleged either past or future skiff meeting between certain individuals. Have you heard anything about this?
The last I heard, it has not happened yet, but I'm not going to pretend that I have my finger that close to the pulse of that whole situation. The clearances thing was still kind of murky from what I've heard, but maybe it did happen. If it did, that's good.
All right. So, yes, that's what I've been hearing also. And allegedly, someone was given back certain clearances to enter a skiff, which, like I said, I've heard this and I cannot confirm it. So I'm not going to get into specifics about it. But it's an individual that is out there, well known. But the players involved, again, this is allegedly, maybe it's coming in the near future or maybe it's happened already. I don't know. Like you said, I'm not that close to the situation, but it's the usual players, Mellon, Lou Elizondo, and the name I heard even was Grush with Luna. And there's others involved too, but that's just a few names. Again, I don't know if that's true or not, but this is what I'm hearing. They're unconfirmed sources. That's all I can say. And I will not say it's happened or it's going to happen. But you've heard similar.
Yeah. And I've also heard something else that's pretty interesting that we will be talking about today. And that involves while controversial topic, I believe it's gaining more and more credibility as time goes on. And that would be the tridactyl mummies of Peru.
Now, we've got two incredible guests to join us to discuss that, but I also want to let everybody know, Psychoactivo, and the host is Pavel. He's one of our guests, Pavel Ibarra Meda. Make sure to check out his content. He provides, exceptional content, keeping up everyone on the latest in UAP news, and including what we're going to be discussing here today. So you can check out his channel, Psychoactivo, on YouTube, and also on KGRA. His show airs on Sundays, 10 to midnight Eastern. So Psychoactivo. And we also have another incredible guest, Gonzalo, Chavez, who's right on the pulse of what we're going to be discussing. So without further ado, let's get right to it.
What's up, guys?
Welcome, Gonzalo and Pavel.
Welcome back.
Hello, guys. How you guys doing?
Good. So, Toby, you were leading into it. So, what's going on?
Actually, I say let's let the guys take it from here. What's the latest with the tridactyl mummies?
Gonzalo, you want to start it, or Pavel?
I will say that I dropped the news in English, but Gonzalo is the one who's closest to the action. So, the news really came from him. And obviously from Joyce Mantilla, who is the core source of the news. So can you let us know, Gonzalo, how it all played out, if right. Possible?
Before Gonzalo actually speaks about this, why don't we play a clip that you released, Pavel, that kind of builds up to where we're at now currently regarding this situation with the
Sure.
Mummy. So if you can play that video now, that clip.
The Peruvian government took 2 bodies from Ica University, and they took it to a hospital near there where they ran tests X-rays and CT scans and all that, so they can like officially try and study and analyze those larger bodies, because there's always been a real debate and a lot of controversy about the smaller bodies, the ones that Mr. Jaime Maussan and Mr. Joyce Mantilla and Mr. Martina Chirica managed to bring to Mexico. And based on that, there's always been controversy about those little bodies. But the ones that I've always wanted to pay attention to are the larger ones, because those are the really interesting ones. Maria is the most famous one. But for example, Montserrat is the one that is pregnant. And on the alienproject.com, which is a website from French explorer Thierry Jamon, that's where you can see the baby inside of Montserrat's womb. And you can see the little tridactyl hands in there. That's incredible. I mean, it's impossible to replicate that, you know? So when I saw that, I was like, okay, so the larger bodies seem to be real. So what are they? We don't know yet what they are. All we know right now was that after those bodies were taken, the two radiologists and X-ray specialists who ran the tests, they determined, and they presented this at a Peruvian hearing in November, they determined that one of the bodies they took, Guaguita, was actually human, and that the tridactyl features in her hands and her feet were sewn off. They used to have 5 fingers and 5 toes, and then they made it look like they had 3. However, Maria, it was determined by these doctors that Maria's tridactyl features grew naturally, both in her hands and her feet. So what does that mean? It means that the evidence is pointing towards that the mummies like Maria, Montserrat, Sebastian, all of these that are like similar to humans in size, those were once living beings that had 3 fingers and 3 toes, and each hand and foot.
Wow.
Very cool.
Was that okay, Gonzalo?
Yeah, that was perfect. You summarized it really well. So in September, the Ministry of Culture requested access to Maria and Guaguita because they are temporarily protected. They're currently like have like some sort of protection on them, where for 2 years, the government of Peru said that they're temporary assets of Peru. So what happened was that there was this lawyer called, I believe his name is Jorge Flores, and he filed a lawsuit saying, well, you guys claim that these 2 specimens are property or temporary cultural assets, which requires the Peruvian government to then study the bodies and then decide if these 2 bodies are cultural assets. But the Peruvian government wasn't doing anything. So this lawsuit was started by this lawyer. And well, that got them to start doing their job, because they now have a lawsuit against them. And so in September, they got access to the bodies, and they did their scans. But what they did is that after they got the scans and the medical reports, is that they classified the information. So then what the lawyer did again was take him back to court saying, hey guys, the process is that you guys are supposed to be transparent. So he took him to court again, and it was decided by I think it was the Department of Justice and Transparency, that those files should become public domain, because they are funded by taxpayers, who taxpayers paid for the medical results. And so then those files were released earlier this week. So basically what happened for me this week was that I got a text message from Joyce Mantilla saying, hey, Gonzalo, everything went perfect. The Ministry of Culture told us that they were going to release the files, and here's the link. Can you verify that the DICOM files work? So thankfully I was off from work that day. So I opened up the files and saw that they worked. And then the lawyer and Joyce then announced it on their Facebook pages that, hey, these files have now been released to the public. Here they are. You can download them. So and then I spoke with Joyce, and I was like, hey, since these files are public domain, what we should do is then release them on tridactyls.org, allow the public to download them like everyone, because we have currently some other DICOMs but those are for like actual people who are doctors, scientists. They have to like request access, and then I approve their account, and then they can download those files. But since Maria and Guavita were files released by the Peruvian government as public domain, I told them like we should just release them to everyone, and they agreed. So we've had over 400 unique clicks on those buttons since I released it. So about 400 people probably have those files on their computers right now.
So, anybody that doesn't know, can you explain real quick what a DICOM
and so far, it's
file
been getting a lot of attention. I know one of my Facebook, how it happened this week.
What was that about your Facebook? What happened? You broke up a second, Gonzalo.
Looks like he's got a connection issue.
Yeah. But Toby, what were you going to mention?
Well, what I was just asking if he could explain what a DICOM file is to everybody that's not familiar with the term.
Well, why don't we show the website on the screen?
Yeah, so DICOM.
And this is because you're breaking up a bit, Gonzalo. You might have a connectivity. Go ahead.
Sorry, guys. So DICOM files are the raw medical files that are generated when a body or a person is put on the machine. When the machine runs the scans, it generates files, and those are created under .dcm. And so those are the raw medical files. And in order to open those files, you need like an app that's called like a DICOM viewer. And so those are files that the scientific community has been asking for years. I've been told they've been asking for those files for 8 years. And so now this is the first time that there's like official government stacked DICOM files. And so what I have right there is I created this website called tridactyls.org. And this has basically everything that I consider to be the best evidence the team has created. So I have the fingerprints, which for me is like the most definitive one because it takes about 3 million years for fingerprints to generate, and it's completely different to humans. If you scroll down, you'll see that there's pictures of the fingerprints, and they are straight lines. So if you look at your fingers, you'll see that yours are circles. But if you keep scrolling down, you'll see pictures of the fingerprints, and they are just straight lines. And there's nothing like that in nature for humans. And so this is for me like one of those evidence that I consider, and for my part, to be definitive, just because, like I said, talking to the doctors and talking to, asking ChatGPT or Grok, they tell me it takes about 3 million years for these to develop. So that means that these species has been around for a long time.
Gonzalo, has anybody?
So these are Paloma's fingerprints.
Gonzalo, has anybody actually tried to figure out how old they actually are scientifically?
So, so most of the newest body is about 800 years old. And the oldest body or evidence that's been discovered is 6,000 years old. So
those are the hands.
A big gap in time that they were in Peru.
Those are the hands, right, Gonzalo?
Yeah, those are the giant hands. They haven't found, yes, those are the giant hands.
All right, I need some
clarification. The giant hands, they haven't.
All right, I just want to clarify something, Gonzalo, because again, you're having some connectivity issues, so there might be a pause going on. But the giant hands, and maybe Pavel, you can help me out with this, and Toby, are they associated with any body? Are they separate? Because if they're giant hands, how big is the body in correlation with those big hands? I mean, it would make sense that we're talking about a tall humanoid to have fingers that long. So is there a body associated with these hands, or are they separate?
My understanding, as far as I know,
no body has been found right now.
Okay. So it's separate.
And the hands are about 2 feet long. Yeah, the hand. Wow. And you can see them on Tridactyls if you click on that tab and then click on all specimens. And then scroll down. It'll take you to the Alien Project website, but scroll down and you'll see a picture of the hands. And they have implants on them.
And there's 3. Are those? I mean,
Yeah,
God,
they're huge.
There it is.
all of you, are those? Have there's been scientific evidence that those are real?
Yeah. Those were carbon
Yeah,
dated.
those hands, yes.
There were X-rays taken on them. They grew naturally as well, and they're carbon dated to 6,000 years ago.
Can we make that image larger? Is it possible?
If you click on the image, it'll take you to the Alien Project website, which has more information about them. This is like their the Alien Project, the Encari Institute. There you go.
And they're 2 feet in length? That's incredible. I've never seen anything like this.
Bro, there are
You know what
many
that
parts.
means?
There are many aspects of this case that are. It's like, what? Is that real? What the hell?
Oh my gosh. I mean, all right, so let me get some more clarification here. Other than the Peruvian scientists, has there been international input from other scientists analyzing any of these specimens?
Not yet.
Yeah, so in total about 50 scientists have studied the bodies.
Just from
and that's
Peru
people from
or
Russia,
worldwide?
people from France.
Okay.
They go to Peru to see the bodies. So we have people from Russia, people from France, people from the United States, people from Mexico, people from Brazil that are looking at these bodies. And there's a lot of attention, at least for the big bodies, the human-like ones. And that's what most of the researchers are concentrating on, because the 60 centimeter, the ones shown in the Mexican Congress, are a bit too controversial for people. So what the researchers decided to do is concentrate on the one that they feel is easier to confirm, which are the human-like bodies.
Yeah, but those hands, I mean, if those are truly proven scientifically, and you guys say they are, and that's why I would love to see an international panel make that determination as well publicly, that is just above and beyond. This is very important.
And we had been waiting for what happened last week with Joyce, because that's like the first step towards an actual announcement from the Peruvian government. And they were forced to do it. They didn't want to do it. They wanted to keep the information hidden. And now that they were forced, they need the next step is that they're gonna have to make an announcement. But I wanted to say something real quick, because right after it happened, I spoke to Dr. Piotti, who is the Argentinian anthropologist who I speak to often about this. And he was happy about the news. He told me that he felt that it was like really close. But he also told me something that I found really interesting, because he's been studying other craniums, the one of Paloma, the mummy. And he told me that he thinks there is some kind of an entity or a being that he can't understand what it is, that has been putting these bodies in the same place over different periods of time. Because one body, for example, the hand is 6,000 years old. The larger bodies are 1,700 years old. The little bodies that are very controversial, they're like 1,000 years old. And now Gonzalo is telling me that Joyce, the mummy, is 800 years old. And they were all found in the same place. And Piotti is really, really amazed by the level of mummification that was done on these bodies, because he's been studying remains of humans and other beings his entire career. And he's like, in Egypt, which was the best place where they mummified, the best mummification processes, what they're doing here far surpasses what they did in Egypt with bodies. And it's really simple, but it's way more effective. And I just don't understand, he said, who was doing this, who was putting these bodies in there They clearly had a plan to do it. That's what they found all of them in the same place, but they're from different eras. So
All right.
who's doing that? You know?
I have to throw something in there then. There's two questions that you just made mention. It made me think, Pavel. One, is this some type of a burial site that goes over generation to generation by the indigenous population at that time? And secondly, you guys might know this, are there any other indications of other skeletal remains there that have not yet been discovered? To make that theory more valid, where this is a burial site over hundreds, if not who knows how long, and that's why there's different ages, carbon dating going on, because this site was used by the indigenous population as a sacred burial site.
You know what puzzles Piotr the most, I think, is that the measurements of the cranium that he does, he says that they're like way, way, way more advanced than anything he's ever seen. Like the least amount of time between us and the most advanced, and the least advanced that they have, the least evolved, is like 3 million years old. But the little bodies, he thinks, because he thinks the little bodies are real, he thinks they're like 4 or 5 times that. Far ahead in the future, more evolved than us, which is fucking wild.
Evolution. Yeah, like an evolutionary process of the future that this could represent our makeup.
I'm sorry, Gonzalo. You were saying something, man. Sorry.
Yeah, Potty Mouth had to hop in.
Yeah. So from talking with the team, there's like this belief that this may still be an active civilization living, on Earth. If you look at the new reporting from Joyce, and he's doing this in his dream project of that he's always wanted to do, and Jaime is funding it for his new television channel. And Joyce is going around Nasca, where these bodies are found, and he's taking tour guides. And this tour guide for the first episode explained how there's this undiscovered pyramid, which is not undiscovered because they found it 30 years ago. And that inside this pyramid, there's an underground chamber. And that in that underground chamber, they found a very weird looking mummy. And that after this weird looking mummy was found, the entrance to the underground chamber was dynamite. Like they destroyed the entrance to this undiscovered pyramid. And so this guide at the end tells Joyce, like, look, near this pyramid, every day, early morning, we see UFOs. So he takes Joyce, they video record, and they record 2 UFOs. And then the guy tells him, like, he's like an old man, and he's like, living here my entire life, I believe that we live on top of another civilization. So he believes that we're basically living on the roof of somebody else. And if you talk to many of the researchers, they'll tell you the same thing. They'll tell you that they hear stories from people in that area that describe these beings. And they describe these beings as if they're still living there. So this is where it gets like a little bit scary or a little bit unscientific for me, because we're talking about there may be another civilization living here on Earth, and we just don't know it. And they live underground, and in certain areas of the world, they may be more visible than they are here in the U.S. But those are the stories that they're getting directly from the people who live in Nasca, from people who live near the discovery site, that they believe, that they believe we live basically on the roof of somebody else.
Wow. Gonzalo, when all this was going on, since you were doing a lot of research on this, was there evidence of a lot of military presence by the Peruvian government? You said that it looked like they closed this tunnel system up with dynamite. Who did that?
Yeah, so the guy didn't say who did it. He just said this entrance was destroyed with dynamite. And then Joyce starts to explain how in order to obtain dynamite, you have to go through the government. In order to obtain a lot of dynamite that would have caused this destruction, would have been like government approved. So there is like a little bit of indication that it's like the Peruvian government that is trying to prevent this stuff from coming out. And then we can see it right now with the way they are treating the case. If it wasn't for legal measures, they wouldn't be being transparent.
And there's also another connection that I think we should make, which is the Pelacara phenomenon that has been happening in both Peru and Brazil. And the reports there, and even Joyce interviewed people who suffered that phenomenon, and they told him that these alleged beings were speaking English, American. One of them was, and the other one was speaking in Peruvian accent in Spanish. So we don't know how deep the Peruvian government is with other entities of government, trying to cover this up, which
or ours.
I would say it's happening. Yeah.
You know what I mean, Pavel? They could be working with ours. They're both working together because
I think that's the case, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
right, Gonzo?
Yeah. Well, last year, Joyce had to leave the country for a few months because he was informed that after Montserrat was shown to the public, Montserrat's the one that's pregnant. And they also found Sebastian and Santiago. When those three bodies were presented, Joyce got a message that, hey, we're getting some indications that there's like people following you from the government. Wow. And so what Joyce did was they told him to leave the country for a while. So Joyce left to Spain, left to Italy. He was doing like a tour over there, but in reality, he was just taking the recommendations given to him by his sources to leave the country for now. And they just said that they were doing some stuff that are not legal. And so, yes, there is following. I know that Thierry Jamin mentioned that in 2017, they got hints that Americans were looking for the discovery site, and they decided not to continue their search for that period, just in case, they're there and they're following them. So they just stopped investigating the tridactyls for a certain amount of period. But yeah, there is international interest from government.
Toby. And corruption too.
Go ahead, Toby.
Let's bounce back a little bit. Pavel, can you explain to everybody? I think it's the pelicaras, or however you say it, the face pillars, right? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Can you give everybody that's not familiar with that a real quick summary of what that whole phenomenon is? Yeah.
So about 2 years ago, I think it was 2023 or 2022. There was a phenomenon taking place in some of the furthest villages in Peru and Brazil as well. It was happening simultaneously. And the reports came in. There were videos that were really blurry. You couldn't really make out what you were seeing of people pursuing what they thought at the time was a creature or some kind of creature. And the reports are really varied because they said that these creatures were hopping into what they thought were UFOs or some kind of a technology that made them hover. And they were attacked, some of these people from the villages, by these beings. And people like Joyce Mantilla and Timothy Albarino went to the place because Timothy was living in Peru at the time. He lived there for a decade. So he went to the place and he started interviewing people who suffered this phenomenon and what they call the pelacaras, the face peelers. And they said that they seem to have some kind of advanced technology, and a little girl reported that she heard an American accent and a Peruvian accent from these beings. So they were human. They weren't extraterrestrials or anything like that. And this is right around all of the place where all of these tunnel systems that have been discovered recently and megalithic structures and all that. It's all around there. And I'm guessing that there's some kind of mineral that they're mining there. That's what I would guess. And also trying to hide things like the Nazca Mummies. Who knows what else is down there,
Did it?
Pavel, there's always been the speculation of mining when it comes to Peru, the Nazca lines, and that whole area. There's been a lot of speculation about that. But what I'm thinking is, what can happen next? It would be great on a global scale if we all got to see video, close-up video. Are they encased? Who's in possession of it? Obviously, the Peruvian government, right? At this moment, I mean, what is the status of these mummies and all these artifacts? Are they going to display it? I mean, what's coming? I want to know more about this.
Gonzalo knows this.
Yeah, so if you guys want to see the mummies, Maria, Victoria, Alberto, and it's Maria, Wawita, Victoria, and Alberto, I can help you guys. I can just get you guys connected with the university professors, and you guys can see the bodies. But their main goal is to build a museum. The guy who built the Salmaya Museum in Mexico, which is a gorgeous museum, has offered their services to build this museum for the pterodactyls. And the goal is basically to have a museum between Nasca, Ica, and Palpa, and display these bodies, have a research center so people who are scientists can go there and study the bodies with all the equipment they need. Because right now, what the team is finding or what they're trying to do is get at least one of the bodies to be exported to the United States. And that body will more than likely be Maria, because she's the one that's currently being like a temporarily cultural asset. And it would legally allow them to. So their goal is to just basically confirm one body scientifically. This is a full tridactyl in a high quality university, and then write a peer-reviewed paper in a very good journal. So basically confirm the discovery. And then afterwards have a museum so the entire world can visit these bodies. But I know that there's discussions about maybe temporarily having them displayed in the university so people can go to the university and see the corpses. But yes, if you wanted to see the bodies, that is something I can help you guys with.
Toby?
I lost my train of thought because...
And
I mean, to me, this is ground, like Pavel's mentioned to us off air. We've had discussions on this. This is groundbreaking. I mean, this information, the public needs to be made aware of this. Because
I do have to report something that I think it's important to note about this, because as Gonzalo well knows, there is disagreement between two camps. And one is the one with Jaime and Joyce, and the other one is the one with Thierry. And right after that news from Joyce came out, Thierry put out a statement where he basically is putting in doubt Joyce's credibility. And something that I want to say about that is that I think that there needs to be some kind of an agreement between those two parties to stop bickering and try to get this to the end zone, if you know what I mean. Because doing this, keep fighting and keep making really serious accusations, which I think I think Thierry has been doing. I think that is one of the main reasons the case is still going really slow. And another one of the reasons why the international community is not looking this way as much as we wish them to do so, because they see that there's drama. They see that there's accusations of lack of credibility and, trafficking and stuff like that. And what are they going to think? They're going to think that the case is BS, because of all that. Wouldn't Gonzalo agree? Do you agree, man?
Yeah, that's honestly has been my goal, is just to get everybody to working together. Right now, I'm messaging the web developer for the Ingari Institute, because I released the DICOM files that I have, but my goal is for people to have two sources. So have DICOMs from their effort and then DICOMs from the effort that Jaime is doing. And then people can compare. That's what the scientific method requires, is for the data to be available and for them to be able to study. So that's what I'm working on, because if there's drama, we're not going to get anywhere. And for me, it's more about respecting the bodies and preserving them, because whoever preserved these bodies, it's clear that they were loved. Just look at the way Montserrat was preserved. She's holding her belly. Whoever preserved her like that knew she was pregnant when she died. So these people were obviously loved. And so for me, the drama that's happening between both teams to me is secondary. I try not to pay attention to it, because if those bodies rot, I'm going to be upset. If I have children, they're not going to be able to see something that I've seen. And our generation should be able to see these specimens, because like I said, it's clear that these people were loved by someone.
Well, and I think it's bigger than the people involved at this point, right? That's what Pavel's saying, is to check your ego at the door. Let's focus on pushing this thing through. If all the signs are pointing to these being legitimate, whether they're human, some other type of human, whatever. The sooner the personalities take themselves off to the sideline and push the scientists and researchers forward, I agree. I think the sooner we'll get more answers on this, and that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and with that's what Piotr told me too when I was speaking to him a couple of days ago. He was like, I don't like it that either one or the other camp wants to claim the mummies as if they were their own. They're not theirs. They're everybody's. They're a cultural heritage, and people don't understand that. The ones involved, they don't get it. They keep trying to take over, the case, and it's really unfortunate, man.
Does this not surprise anyone? We see this, what goes on in ufology with the UAP. I mean, this is not nothing new. This shouldn't be about attack the messenger. This is about what's really important here, which all of you are emphasizing, is actually these bodies. Or if it was UAPs, it's the evidence. It's the science. That's what it comes down to. Don't attack the messenger. Stop fighting with each other. This is not about ego, like Toby said. Leave it at the door. This is about getting the truth out to the public, to the people. That's all that should matter here. And like you said, it's also a heritage. It's a culture thing that needs to be preserved. I mean, why do they do this? Why do they create this bickering? Drop that. Stop. Let's just get this out there to the public. Let's get to the root of it. Let's get the science. Let's get the data. Let's get it out there. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what happens? These turn out to be non-humans. I mean, they could be from somewhere else. They could be from here. But that news and confirmation in itself, there's your disclosure that we're not alone, right?
Yep.
You don't need someone to tell you. You don't need someone to go testify and tell you that. There's Bill, you're always saying, where's the proof?
Yep.
If these are real, and for just the way our society is, most Americans won't believe it until American scientists and researchers confirm it. So I agree. Let's, push forward, get it confirmed, and then that opens up a whole new world. Are they from here? Are they from somewhere else? What are they?
You've always heard this, the Nephilim, the giants. I'm like, I want to know the body associated with those long fingers. You know what I'm saying? What are we dealing with here? Now, were those found in the same site? Is that in the same area or separate?
Yes.
Is anybody looking with underground array equipment to see if there's anything else there?
That's kind of impossible because of the corruption and the vaqueros. They're like a mafia, and they are armed. Right, Gonzalo?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so apparently this discovery site is basically being run by vaqueros, basically like they're running like a cartel type system on the discovery sites. But I know that there's been like more evidence that's been discovered, but it turned out to be like ancient cultural creation. So like people were creating stuff to potentially look like these beings.
Like idols.
Yeah. And this fake item was like as big as a human torso, and it was just a head. So it's believed that whoever was who made these, fake heads in the past were probably trying to show how big this giant actually was, creating creating like body parts from other animals.
But the hands are real.
But the hands are real.
Yes.
The hands. Yes. So that's where it gets interesting because it's clear that there was a huge being in the past, and we would call them giants. And it seems like they may actually be true stories, and we've just written them off as myth.
Well, that head that you're talking about, if you've seen the picture, I know we've all seen it. I don't know, Bill, if you've seen it or not, but if there was something alive that looked like that, Bill, you think the hands are creepy?
No, it kind of looks like Frankenstein's monster, dude. It's so wild.
Guys, just think about it. Look at your hands. Look at your fingers. I mean, mine are maybe 3 inches. These fingers are like this. So we're not even talking about an 8-foot or a 10-foot humanoid. If the hands are in any configuration along with the body must be like at least 15, 20 feet tall.
Yeah. I've heard rumors that they believe they're about 18 feet tall.
I was right in the middle.
Yeah, you were right there. Yeah, so they were huge beings. And the reason why I don't rule it out is just because, well, we have hands, right? So, and the other reason is that nobody ever believed tridactyls existed, and they were found. And so now a lot of what may be myth may have actually just been stories. And now we just need to see which stories were correct.
Then go back to the early 1900s, late 1800s. We've talked about it on the show before. All the newspaper articles from back in the day about giants being discovered.
Oh yeah,
and
the
Smithsonian taking over. Smithsonian coming in, it's real, and then they're gone the next day with the body. I mean, hello.
Yeah. And if you follow those stories of the giants, they were found in caves, which follows the legends of. It follows how the tridactyls were found. Cave systems, tunnel systems. It's probably the same thing.
Yeah, and what you're saying, that goes back to even native oral traditions here. It's
I have a question all around the world. It's indigenous for Gonzalo. Gonzalo, has Jaime or anybody in there thought about taking DNA samples from the hands and run some tests?
So I don't know about the hands. I know that once the cultural assets start being established, they plan on running a DNA test on everything. So I'm sure that includes the hands. But we first have to get the bodies, become confirmed as cultural assets. But like I said, the lawyer said that it doesn't matter if they say yes or no. It's good either way. If they say yes, the bodies get funded within Peru. So that's perfect. But if they say no, they can just take the bodies to the United States and get them studied there. So it's like whatever the Peruvian government decides, it's good for the team. But obviously, everybody prefers if Peru says yes, because then the bodies get preserved, the bodies get a museum built, the bodies stay in Peru, which is very important because I sort of fear that if they get exported, they'll disappear. Oh. Especially something like Montserrat, that is obviously a holy grail type evidence.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'm like freaking out over here with this cartel. Is this like a drug arms cartel that nobody can get near it? Or, you say they control the area. So are they doing anything to excavate and sell it off to private dealers?
That's their business.
That's their grave robbers. The job. They're grave robbers.
Grave robbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the people who are actually like the main people discovering these bodies are grave robbers. And basically what happened is that in 2017, a grave robber was looking for gold. His name is Leandro Benedicto Rivera. He was looking for gold, and he stumbled across Maria and 60-centimeter bodies. And he didn't know what to do with them, so he took them to Incari Institute. And Incari Institute then got them studied, and it was confirmed that, well, they're not human. And then basically this person has, I'm sure, continued doing his job. I'm pretty sure he stopped paying attention to the gold and started just looking for these bodies. And then from what I've heard, there's bodies now have been sent to Brazil. There's bodies that have been sent to Russia. There's bodies that have been sent to France. I'm pretty sure there's bodies that have been sent to the United States, but nobody has said it to me.
It's the highest bidder.
Yeah. So this is what's happening to these bodies. And from what I've heard, there's probably like hundreds of these bodies. So it probably is just like he ran into a cemetery of a potentially still active civilization. And that's why there's ranges everywhere. Ranges from 6,000 years ago, ranges to 800 years ago. There's probably newer ones.
And there's probably living ones.
For example, we had... Yes, exactly. I know that we've had a university professor reached out to say with the carbon dating that we should carbon date their feces because some of the specimens have poop inside of them. And he believes that the dating may be messed up because we're testing the skin, and some of the skin still has diatomaceous earth. So that may be making them older than what they actually are. So he thinks if we study the poop, that would give us a realistic timeline of when this specimen was alive.
You heard it, folks. Alien turds confirmed here.
Yeah. And Maria has a lot, apparently. Even the Ministry of Culture said that in their report. There's a lot of feces.
All right. I hate to just keep hashing on the same thing. And I know the emphasis is on the bodies. But see, to me, the hands are so significant. I'll tell you why. If they are real, right? Then scientists have to say, this is such and such Homo sapien or whatever kind of species associated to these hands. I want to hear the scientific explanation. We're not talking about an 8-foot person. We're talking about something. So you tell me what those hands belong to. What human species in our past or anything in our past is connected to those hands with 3 digits on it. I want to hear that explanation. See, I think those hands are they're very significant because I don't even think they'd be able to publicly come out with any kind of explanation what they're associated to, personally.
And they even have implants on them. So they have gold implants on their hand. And if you look at like Asian designs or like drawings of like gods, you'll see like they have hands with an amulet on them. And if you look at the giant hands, it looks exactly the same. But yeah, it's like for me, the giant hands are super interesting. I just hope we find a corpse during my lifetime. Yes,
it's probably
that
cold to the by now.
I don't think that I don't think the same way you do, Bill, because I do think the pregnant one is more interesting because of the little fetus inside that also has the 3 little fingers.
Oh yeah, that's very important too.
That I think that will give us a more accurate representation of what we have in front of us, I think.
But they can simply say that was a deformity or come up with some other kind of explanation to just brush that aside and say, this is just some kind of deformation that happened with this pregnancy with the baby. And who knows? Even the elongated skulls, that was a tribal thing that happened with cultures. And they would put the bands to elongate their skulls. I mean, that is something that, so they'll try to come up with some kind of rational explanation to it, but you cannot. That just from those images I seen earlier, how the heck are you going to explain that to me? And yes, I'm not discounting what you're saying, the significance of the 3 digits, the fetus. That is definite. I want to hear an explanation on that too. But all of this is very significant to me. And it has to get studied internationally. That's the key.
It's what we're trying to do.
I hope so. Gonzalo, you said that hopefully it's going to, are they going to, is the Peruvian government actually going to allow these specimens to even leave the country? I mean, really? With the risks involved?
Yeah, that's where it gets interesting because I know that in the second hearing, the congressman, or they were calling him president, he seems to be like the guy who runs the Congress, said he was interested in the proposal by Dr. McDowell, who's the American former president of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. He's like leading the research effort. And what Dr. McDowell wants to do is bring a body to the United States with Peruvian scientists. So there's Peruvian scientists and the American scientists studying the bodies in the United States. And then once they do the studies, send the body back with the Peruvian scientist and then write a peer-reviewed paper, everybody together, and then get it published in a high-quality journal. So yes, there is fear that the body's being taken, but they're thinking like if we bring it to the United States, it comes with Peruvian scientists. The Peruvian scientists are like around the bodies, taking care of them. That way, they don't get taken away. But I'm pretty sure once that happens, there's going to be a lot of attention from the Department of Defense, a lot of entities in the United States, because this is going to be going against their current messaging that there's no evidence. And then there's a body being brought here backed by the Peruvian government. I'm pretty sure that may cause some drama.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Well, we got a few more minutes left. We got about 5 minutes. Toby, any closing thoughts on this?
Other than changing your screen name to Hands, I don't. Never seen someone so excited about hands.
Giant hands.
Giant hands. They look like a spider crab. You ever see a spider crab? How long? Oh, that is freaking me out. How long?
Yeah.
Imagine waking up to one of those coming down towards your face.
Dude, there are some shots of those hands that still haunt me to this day. The ones with the X-rays, right, Gonzalo? They look like this. Oh, fuck,
Then there's if you listen to, because Robert Salas has seen the tridactyls in person, and if you ask him why he went to go see them, it's because of those hands. He had experience of 3 hands in his abduction experience. And if you listen to other people, even Dr. John Litch told Pavel that his experience was also 3 fingers. So that's why, to me, this may be why it's being so ridiculed. This may be the actual what's piloting the UAPs for me.
They, like Toby mentioned, and Toby, you can re-emphasize this. What are we all looking for?
Evidence. Proof.
The truth.
Evidence. This could be it. I'm not. Obviously, more information has to come out, and we have to verify the credibility of this. But if this turns out to be true, that this is actually an artifact, something that is real, this is a game changer, in my opinion. That's all. Game changer in so many ways. The bodies, the fingers, hands, all of it. It's all. This is a game changer. Evidence, possibly, because it ain't from Earth. If anything would go, I don't know what the. Like I said, this is gonna make me freak out. I'm gonna have to change Skywatcher hands because this is. And I know Pavel. I know about the fetus and I get it, but I've never seen, if those are real, fingers that come out to here, 3 digits. I've never heard of anything like that before in my life. So if those are real, and you guys say that it has been, there is data to support that they are. That's a game changer in itself. What is that?
Yeah, even there's one in Mexico that Pavel released a video of, and it has Dr. Piotti holding the hand, and you can tell he was like in shock when he was holding the hand just because how big it is. And they ask him in the video, "Doctor, how do you feel?" He's like, "I'm overwhelmed with emotion right now. I never thought I would see something like this in my life." And it's really cool.
Pavel, and because we're running out of time, has the Peruvian government, are they deciding to make an announcement publicly about this, or they just released the document because they had to?
They released the documents because they had to. But there's going to be a new congressional hearing at the end of this month, we're hoping. And there should be some updates afterwards.
Keep us posted. Keep Toby, all of us.
Yeah, so that's what the team is working on right now. There's a new congressional hearing that's going to happen. We're hoping it's the end of this month, if not next month. But there is attention from the Peruvian government. And it's mainly because there's now like lawsuits happening against them. Universities are becoming interested within Peru. So there's now like pressure happening to the Peruvian Ministry of Culture to actually be honest. And now, like with the DICOM files public, people who are scientists will be able to see if the government's lying when they say these are hoaxes. Well, it's like the raw DICOM files are there. Explain to me how they're hoaxes now. That was my goal with making the website, is make the evidence public. And then if I have like a skeptic or a debunker telling me, hey, you're just wasting your time on dolls, it's like, well, explain to me how they're dolls now. And here's the file.
That's why debunkers don't touch this shit. They just laugh it off, but they don't ever go into debates about any of it. You know?
Well, keep up the great work, Gonzalo. And with that, Toby, I think we're pretty much out of time.
All right. I want to thank our guests for this week, Pavel, Gonzalo.
Thank you guys for the invite, and sorry for lagging in the beginning. I didn't know that was happening.
That's all right, but we look forward to both of you in the future to keep us updated on what the heck is going on with this.
And
awesome, guys. You guys take care.
See everybody next Monday. Have a good one.
Bye.
Run.